Are you a narcissist? Are you called a narcissist? Do you call other people narcissists? You might be, you might not. They might be, they might not. This word is thrown around and we just throw it around and really we don't understand what it is. Today we're going to look at it a little bit deeper. We're going to look at the 9 traits of narcissistic personality disorder. Let's talk about it.
Brotha T.
How you doing? This is Terry Gown Wilson, aka your boy Brotha T, here with another one.
Oh, it's good.
So I like to thank you and welcome to the new life tree, where we like to give you little pine cones of wisdom for your motivation and mental health. If you don't know what that is, stick around, stay on the channel, you'll get it. So let's talk about narcissists today. Oh my Lord. So a lot of people, they like to throw this word around, right? Especially in a breakup. You talk to the person and they just broke up with somebody. The other person was a narcissist, right? Every time, it never fails. It never fails. But were they really a narcissist, or did they just do things that you didn't like? Maybe they had a personality you didn't like. I don't know. But before we look at some of these traits, I just want to tell you that I'm not a licensed therapist. So I want you to use this information for informational and entertainment purposes, right? You know, and at the same time, I do want to get some information out there so you can start thinking about these things, not so you can accuse somebody else of being a narcissist, okay? But I want you to look at these things and see if these traits are lining up with you, or if you start seeing too many of these traits in a person, then, you know, I'm not saying call them a narcissist. Don't do that. You don't want to do that with a narcissist, because they're going to flip it on you. They're going to make everybody think that you're the narcissist, right? So don't go around calling people narcissists. But in your mind, take note of it, and then, you know, you can take steps to see if, you know, they can be diagnosed. Trick them into getting tested, right?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I don't, you know, you'll have to get with somebody else to figure out how you're going to do that. But let's get into the 9 traits. A lot of professionals say out of these 9 traits, if you or another person exhibit 5 of these, then that's an adequate amount of traits that they can use to diagnose you as a narcissist. So when we're going through this today, I want you to line this up with your own life. If you line up with at least 5 of these things, I'm not calling you a narcissist, but you might want to get that checked out. Let's jump right into it. So the first trait we're going to look at is sense of self-importance. Now, at some level, all of us are going to have some level of self-importance. You should be important, right? You should have self-love, and you should exhibit self-care. However, when you live your life with this sense of self-importance, then everybody else doesn't matter. That's when it becomes a real problem. So if you are in that vein, if you're doing that, then I want you to really take a look at that, because, you know, that could be very unhealthy, and it can get very unhealthy. Trust me. The next thing we're going to look at is preoccupation with power, beauty, or success. Oh, this is going to get interesting, because everybody should be ambitious, right? You should always look to become better. You should always look to climb, get to the top of the mountain in anything that you are trying to do. Don't be mediocre, and don't accept mediocrity. However, when you're obsessed with that, when, you know, that's all you're obsessed with, and that becomes your whole life and your reason for being, to the point where you ignore the people around you, even your children, something wrong, boo. Something wrong, boo. It's you, boo. It's you. All right, the next one, entitlement. Now, Now, this is an interesting one because this is easy to see. This is one of traits that you can actually come in contact with, and you'll experience it right away. You'll know, all right, this person is entitled, because they're gonna tell you what they should get, even if they don't deserve it. Wow, what you should be doing for them, and they never tell you what they're going to do for you or what they should be doing for you. It's always, you should do this, and I should get this, and I deserve this, and I haven't worked for anything, haven't earned anything. There you go. So the next one there, they can only be around people who are important or special. Another one that you can actually see exhibited right in front of your face, and you'll know it as soon as you see it. You'll see them trying to get close to the important person. And this doesn't have to be a celebrity even. This could be at church. This could be at the job. They're always trying to get close to that person in power. And when they get there, you'll see certain fake behaviors to make that person like them, so they can drag them up with them. Now, it's okay to network at your job. It's okay to genuinely come in there and become a person that people like. It's okay to do that. But when that, becomes so important, every single place in your life, no matter what you do, you have to be with the special person. Everybody else is like a lower person that shouldn't be in your presence. Unless you have a title, there's a problem there. There's a problem, a big problem. So, interpersonally exploitative for their own gain. I never even seen that word before. Exploitative. Okay, so basically, interpersonally, so they use people. They use people to get ahead, right? Intentionally, and they do it, just so they can win in the end. They don't care what happens to you as long as they get what they're trying to get. These people can be very cunning, because sometimes you won't know when you're being used. They'll even frame it as they're doing something for you in order for them to win in the end, right? And they'll leave you holding the bag. This can really happen. So this one can be very covert. This is something that you sometimes won't see on the surface, and it'll kind of rear its ugly head later, hopefully sooner than later, right? Arrogant. So that's an easy one to spot. You can tell when somebody's arrogant. It's okay to be confident. It's okay to believe in yourself. It's okay to know that you're good at a lot of things. But arrogance, when you think that you're the only one that's going to be right all the time and you're obnoxious about it, everybody else is a dummy. As long as they disagree with you, they are beneath you. Arrogance, right? I don't have to explain that one any further. I know that. Lack of empathy. When you lack empathy, you don't care, right? There's no way you can put yourself in that person's shoes. There's no way you feel any kind of remorse for what you do to that person. Just because a person is stoic does not mean they lack empathy. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes men can be stone-faced. Sometimes men can be stoic, as they say, right? This is one of those traits that come along with being a traditional man. Historically, you can't be a man walking around emotional. Everything sets you off, because nothing's going to happen, and you can't take care of a family if you're losing control and she's losing control and everybody's erratic and running around. Somebody has to be the rock. However, this is to the women out there, giving you insight on how men are sometimes. Just because we're stoic does not mean we lack empathy. That's why I gave that example. Historically, that men have been that way, and but that does not mean that they lacked empathy. The next one, they must be admired. With narcissists, this is a big one, because if they don't get admired, they're going to take it out on whoever's not admiring them. And if you're in a relationship with them, they're going to take it out on you. Some of them will go find that attention from another person, right? So they can get that admiration, and they'll lose all respect for you. They have to have a source of food. You are the energy source. You are the food. And if you start to not give them that food, then they have to get it from somebody, and they're going to make you the problem. They're going to make you the reason why they did it too. This is real. That's a fact. And the last one there, this is number 9. They're envious of others or believe that others are envious of them. Now, you'll see this displayed a lot with narcissists. When you tell them that you've done something great, or you'll point out that somebody else did something great, you can openly see the envy, right? You can openly see it, and some of them put on a show and act like, oh, well, congratulations, girl. That's good that he proposed to you. You know, you've seen that. This is real. When a lot of young ladies, when they get married, their bridesmaids exhibit that very type of thing. I'm not going into that because I could do a whole episode on weddings. So let's go through the nine narcissistic traits again. Now remember, this is informational purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, so don't look at my show and say I diagnosed your husband because you looked at the show and he lined up with 5 of these traits. Okay, so the very first one they have is sense of self-importance. The second one, preoccupation with power, beauty, or success. Number 3, they're entitled. Number 4, can only be around people who are important or special. Number 5, interpersonally exploitative for their own gain. Number 6, arrogant. Number 7, they lack empathy. Number 8, must be admired. And number 9, envious of others or believe that others are envious of them. Once again, I'm going to say the same thing I said earlier. Don't just look at this list and try to find people in your life to call a narcissist. Don't do that. Matter of fact, I want you to look at this list and hold it against your own life and be honest with yourself. How many of these traits do you have? I had to be honest with myself. I got a few of these, right? I don't have 5. I don't have 5 of them. Thank God. But I do have a few of these. I had to be honest with myself. So be honest with yourself. If you line up with some of these traits, and these traits can be unhealthy, and some of them that I lined up with, they can be unhealthy sometimes. As long as you're self-aware, you can always fix it. That's the key. Be self-aware. Know yourself, right? Know the bad things about yourself. Don't only look at yourself as somebody that never messes up and you're always the victim even when things go wrong. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. So I want you to be honest with yourself out there. And if you line up and by your own assessment that you can see more than 5 or more of these, and you line up with them, if you be honest with yourself, go talk to somebody. Go talk to somebody because you unhealthy. All right, this is your man, Brotha T. I know you enjoyed this episode. I'm going to return with another hot one for you later, family. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.